What's up, everybody? Welcome to another monthly ranking video, but this is a catch-up monthly ranking video, not a mustard. Ha ha ha. But yeah, this is me catching up on the first watches of July 2024. All the movies, yeah, all the first watches of July 2024. Ranked from my least favorite to favorite, because I didn't get to do this one by the end of July because that was whenever I was on my break. And I'll do the same with August as well. But yeah. So all the movies, I watched 9 movies from in July, and I'm gonna talk about my least favorite, probably the most, because I actually have a lot of things to say about my least favorite of that month. Because, well, I'll get into it, but I was actually thinking about doing a whole video of it, actually, but I didn't get to. But if this video's long, it's because of that. Most likely it will be. So, anyway, so, of course, keep in mind personal opinions. If my favorite is your least favorite of these, sorry. If my least favorite is your favorite, which I think you're insane, because I'm going to go ahead and say this, I hate this movie. The first movie I'm going to be talking about, I hate it so much. But if you like it, even if you like it, I do apologize. It's just my personal opinions. In fact, if you do like this movie, please comment down below why. And even if you think it's a good movie, which I surely don't, comment down below. I really want to hear your take on it, but because I fucking hate this movie. So, anyways, with all out of the way, I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about this movie. At number 9, my least favorite. So here we go. So coming in at number 9, we have the first of 3 by the director Alejandro González Iñárritu. I watched some of his movies for his ranking, including this one, and this is 2 hours I wish I could take back, because this movie was ass. And not only was this movie terrible, this is officially my least favorite movie I have ever seen. Yeah, it's that bad. And beating Sausage Party, which was originally my least favorite movie, I gave this a 1 out of 10. It's so bad. This is the latest by Alejandro González Iñárritu. At number 9, we have Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. Yeah. So, okay. This is by the director. This is by the director, like I said, Alejandro González Iñárritu, who did films such as The Revenant and Babel, and 2 other movies I'm going to be talking about in a minute, and a certain movie that I love so much, that is Birdman, the unexpected virtue of ignorance. So, but Bardo, however, Birdman is my favorite by the director. I love that movie. Bardo, on the other hand, is my least favorite from this director, and also of all time. And the big reason why this movie sucks is because it's basically a remake of Birdman. Pretty much. The story is different, the premise is different, the character is kind of different, but it's basically Birdman, but terrible. Because, so Birdman, of course, is about an actor struggling, and he's only remembered as a superhero actor, and he wants to move away from that, so he tries to go on Broadway and do a play. but it doesn't turn out great either. And I won't spoil, but fantastic movie. So fucking good. One of my all-time favorites. I love that movie. This movie does something kind of similar. Instead of an actor, this guy is a documentary filmmaker. And that's kind of all I know about that's close to Birdman. But there's also like a weird thing in the movie with like... and this is how the movie opens up. His wife gives birth, and then the doctors say that the baby wants to go back in. Yeah, the baby wants to go back in. Doesn't want to be in the world because the world is too fucked up or something. What? What? And, you know, whenever that first happened, I wasn't giving up hope yet. I was like, that's weird, but let's see where they go with this. They don't really go anywhere with that. Because, for some reason, they put the baby gets out, but he's like really tiny. Like, really tiny. And he's in a box, and they fucking pretty much kill him, the family, and like... Yeah, I'm spoiling the movie, but who gives a fuck? This movie sucks. Don't watch it. So they send the baby out to sea and drown it, basically. And it's like, what? Like, I thought the movie was about the baby. But no, it's about the father who's a filmmaker and stuff. And they do some similarities. They even the ending is somewhat similar to Birdman, which I might spoil Birdman here, but the director, the main character, I think kills himself, and that's what I do think happens in Birdman. That's a kind of more of an interpretation ending. You know, you don't know for sure exactly what happens to Reagan, but I think he killed himself at the end. Spoilers for that movie. I'm sorry, but yeah, I kind of had to though, because this guy I think kills himself too, but they do it in the most metaphorical bullshit way ever. I mean, they kind of do it in Birdman, but it was so good. So this one, yeah, so that's just all about the story I remember, and it's just garbage. The story is garbage. It's mostly the story, because everything else is actually pretty good. Like, I will admit, because this is a good filmmaker, you know, the cinematography is beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. There's some great shots, some cool even like visuals and whatnot, and the editing is fantastic. The cast isn't bad. The actors, they're fine. And even the score, I think, if what I remember, was pretty good. I think it was. It's been a while, but of what I remember, I think it was pretty good. I do remember there were some scenes where there was no music, but yeah. Anyways, that's it. This movie is bullshit. This movie sucks so bad and makes Birdman... I mean, I thought Birdman was a masterpiece anyways, but it doesn't quite ruin Birdman, because I did, right after I watched this movie, I did go back and revisit Birdman, but I still love Birdman. It's a great fucking film. This movie sucks ass. Even the title is similar to the official title of Birdman, which, like I said, is Birdman or the Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Let me read the title of Bardo again. But the full title to that is Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. So it's similar to that, except for the or part. But, you know, it's still very similar. And this movie sucks ass. Do not watch it. It's on Netflix, but don't fucking watch it. If you have seen it, though, And if you like the movie, please let me down. Like I said, please let me know down in the comments below, because I really want to know why you like this movie. And even if you think the movie's actually really good, tell me. Please tell me, because this movie's terrible. Granted, I was in a bad mood whenever I watched it, but still, like, even still thinking back, it pisses me off. Like, this movie is garbage, and yeah, it's bad. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it. It's awful. So Bardo, that's my number 9. Yeah, I wasted 10 minutes talking about this god awful piece of shit, but let's move on to the next movie, which I don't like this movie either, but at least I can say it actually is a good movie. I just don't like it for certain aspects, you know. But anyways, that's my number 9 is Bardo. My number 8 is another film by that same director, Alejandro González Iñárritu, and that is hopefully I'll say this right, but I think it's called Beautiful, but it's spelled different. It's spelled like Biutiful. But I think it's Beautiful. Maybe. But anyways, so this movie is unlike Bardo. This one is actually good. I will admit that this is a good movie. I just wasn't... I didn't really like this one all that much either, though. I think I gave it like a 3 or a 4 out of 10. I gave it a 4. Just because this movie's very depressing. And it stars... I should say, it stars Javier Bardem. Fantastic actor. I mean, I always loved him from movies like No Country for Old Men, of course, and also Mother. But... this was the first time I ever actually seen him speak Spanish in a movie, and he was great. He was fantastic. But this story, at least of what I remember, was very depressing. So on these movies, by the way, my memory might be a little fuzzy on some of them, just because it's been a little while, you know. So just bear with me. But this movie, of what I remember, I think he was. Well, I know he was, like, in the middle of a divorce. He's a single father now, and he's struggling with his relationship with his wife. I think his wife might have been, like, a junkie or something, maybe, and I think that's why they broke up. But I think he still loves and cares about her, and they try to make it work, but it doesn't, and his relationship with his kids, too, is not the best either. And I think on top of that, he also has cancer. So, yeah. And I think he might be a drug dealer, too, or something like that. But yeah, it's very depressing. It's good. It's a very good movie. I'm glad I watched it, unlike Bardo, even though it was very depressing. Sorry. But it was very depressing to watch, and it's definitely a one and done. I don't see myself watching this ever again. I don't know, I might try Bardo again. I'm sorry about if you see me drool. Yeah, that's a problem that I have. Anyways, it's gross, I know. I'm keeping it in. Sorry. Anyways, back to this movie. Yeah, I mean, okay, like I was saying about Bardo, maybe I could give that another watch. I have to make sure I'm in a better mood than I was before, because like I said, I did watch it in a bad mood. But yeah, but Beautiful, I don't think I'll ever watch again. It was just too depressing. It's a one and done. But at least it was actually good and way better than Bardo. But I still didn't like it just because it was too depressing for me. You know, much like the movie, maybe I could watch it again, but it'll be a while. But I remember when I first watched Leaving Las Vegas, that movie depressed the shit out of me too. I did like that, though. That was a good movie, and I did like it to some extent, but I think mostly because of the performances from, you know, Nick Cage and was it Elizabeth Shue, I think? I think that's who was in it, yeah. They make that movie great. But that movie was very, very depressing. This one I think might have been even more depressing than that one, but so I could maybe watch that again. This one, no, but yeah, beautiful, very good movie, but just not rewatchable. So yeah, but that's my number 8 is Beautiful, and we'll take a break from Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, but I do got one more movie to talk about from him, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, before I move on to number 7, I'm going to pause this real quick and turn on my fan because I'm starting to sweat. So, yeah, I'll be right back. All right. So coming in at number 7, we have a movie by Mel Brooks. I still haven't seen all of his films yet, but I'm getting closer. This one is actually one of his most popular, but it's definitely a cult classic. That is Robin Hood Men in Tights. Yeah, it took me a while, but I finally got to see that one. And this movie, I liked it. It was good. It was very good. It might be Mel Brooks' last good movie, because I think this was his second to last, and his last was Dracula Dead and Loving It, and I did not like that movie that much. But this one I did enjoy. It was mostly very funny. Cary Ellis as Robin Hood was fantastic. He was really fucking good in this movie. Like, he is such a good comedic actor. I've only seen him in... The only other movie I've ever seen him in was Breakfast Club. I don't know why I said that. Princess Bride. I don't know why I said Breakfast Club. Two completely different movies. Both popular 80s movies, of course, but... Yeah, I don't know why. Anyways, but he was very good. He was so good in this movie, and Princess Bride, not Breakfast Club, but yeah, I liked him better in this one. You also got Dave Chappelle in this movie. That's right, Dave Chappelle. This was his very first movie, I think it was, and yeah, it's insane that he's in this. And Isaac Hayes is in this as well. That was really awesome seeing him. And even Patrick Stewart is in this movie. And I remember I actually looked at the cast before I watched it, and I saw Patrick Stewart. And the whole time I was waiting for him to show up. He didn't until like one of the last scenes of the movie. But when he finally did, I'm like, yes! And he was great. He was really funny and amazing. You also got like people like Tracy Ullman and Dom DeLuise, Dick Van Patten, Mel Brooks himself, who is in like all he makes an appearance like in pretty much all of his movies. And yeah, and also the love interest too, Amy Yazbek. She was great and gorgeous too. I just want to say that, but yeah. And, there's some funny characters in this movie and whatnot, and some funny jokes. Now, not every joke made me laugh. There were some that didn't really, I wouldn't say make me cringe like Dracula did, but there was some that made me shake my head. And just, I'm just like, okay, Mel Brooks, okay. Just some dumb slapstick humor. Like, some of it works, but the ones I didn't really care for. It wasn't cringy, again, but I still wasn't a fan, so yeah. Like, it was on the verge of being cringe, but not quite. I think my favorite part was actually the fight between Robin Hood and, was it Little John? Yeah, that was really funny, with, like, their sticks breaking and stuff. I think that was my favorite joke in the movie. Sorry for spitting again. But, yeah. And it's also kind of a musical, sort of. There's, like, one or two moments. I think there's even a rap part in it. It's kind of weird. But, yeah, I liked it. I liked Robin Hood Men in Tights. I didn't laugh at every joke, but it was still funny. And, yeah, it's a good Mel Brooks movie. And that's my number 7. Robin Hood Men in Tights. Okay, coming in at number 6, we got another comedy, and this one I own. And this was a movie that I bought before I watched it, but I heard good things about it. It's a cult classic. I don't think it did much when it first came out, but it became a cult classic. That is from 1999, Mystery Men. I mean, one thing that made me want to watch this was the cast, because of course you got Ben Stiller. I mean, I love Ben Stiller. Great comedic actor, and he's fantastic in this movie. You also got William H. Macy, and you got Hank Azaria and Greg Kinnear and Jeffrey Rush as the villain, and the late great Paul Reubens as well. I had to mention him. I mean, of course I had to, but and my personal favorite was actually Janeane Garofalo. At least I don't know if my favorite performance, but my favorite character in the movie was Janeane Garofalo's character, the bowler. She was awesome, and I gotta admit, I mean, I always thought Janeane Garofalo was attractive, but she is sexy as fuck in this movie. Not gonna lie. But yeah, my overall thoughts about this movie, I gotta be honest, this movie was a lot weirder than I thought it was gonna be. I just thought it was gonna be a dumb superhero comedy, and it is, but it's kind of weird. There's some weird jokes in this movie, and just like weird stuff in general. I will say Greg Kinnear's death, I was not expecting that. I mean, the joke itself was really bizarre, very dark humor, but also like the visual, which looked cool, but it looked weird too, of how he died. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It was insane. Like, that really caught me off guard, was Greg Kinnear, Captain Amazing, his death. Yeah, spoilers, of course, but yeah, I didn't like every character. Captain Amazing was I liked Ben Stiller's character, and I like Janeane Garofalo's character. I like William H. Macy's character too. This guy was pretty good. I don't remember the actor, but I don't remember his name, his character's name either. But he trained them and whatnot. He was good. This guy was okay. I didn't really like Hank Azaria's character, to be honest. Like, he was kind of cringy, honestly. Like, he had, like, fork puns, which I get it, but it just wasn't funny to me. And Paul Reubens' character was weird as fuck, but I still enjoyed him anyways. It's Paul Reubens, come on. I didn't really like the villain all that much, played by, what's his name, Jeffrey Rush. I didn't really care for him all that much. He wasn't really that great of a villain to me, although he did have a badass name. What was it? Casanova Frankenstein? Or was it Frankenstein Casanova? Something like that. Let me check real quick. Yeah, Casanova Frankenstein. That is a badass name. I even have a list of band names I want to, like, name my band. That's actually on there. I don't know if I'll make it, but it's on there. I like that name a lot. So, Casanova Frankenstein. That great name, but I don't really like the character all that much. He just, it's kind of boring to me. So, a mixed bag of characters, but the ones I liked, I really liked. Janeane Garofalo's The Bowler was my favorite. Like I said, she was awesome and funny too. Yeah. And also, one more thing I wanted to mention. Before Shrek, this movie also had All-Star by Smash Mouth. I couldn't think of the name. Yeah, Smash Mouth's All-Star originally came from this movie, long before Shrek. Shrek made it popular, but this was the first movie to do it. And I even remember watching the music video to All-Star, and it had the cast in it. And I was like, of course, Ben Stiller is the first one I saw, and I was like, what? And then I realized that it was from this movie, and Cade, who you might know from Your Cousins Are Critics, he told me about this movie before. Like, the first time I heard about it was from him, and then I saw that music video. I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this movie. Finally did, and I like it. I don't love it like some other people might, but it's still a good movie. I might like it even more on rewatch, who knows. But it's a good movie. It's just kind of weird. But good movie nonetheless, Mystery Men. That's my number 6. Okay, coming in at number 5, we got another weird movie. Although this one, well, it's comedic at times, but it's more of a drama. But it's also a very weird movie. That is Bronson, directed by, I believe it is, yes, Nicholas Winding Refn, who also directed movies like The Neon Demon, which I have seen long ago. I reviewed it for the channel, check it out. One of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. And also, he also directed Drive, which I haven't seen yet. I've heard pretty much nothing but good things about that movie, but I still haven't seen that one. This is only the second movie after Neon Demon that I've seen, and I like this a lot better than Neon Demon. It's a very weird movie because it's about basically a serial killer or a crazy person, at least. I'm not entirely sure if he's real, but this guy Charles Bronson, not to be confused with the actor Charles Bronson, but this guy who called himself Charles Bronson, this crazy guy, he did kill people, but he also just fought people, and he was just insane. And he's played brilliantly by Tom Hardy. Amazing performance. I mean, I like Tom Hardy anyways as an actor. I really liked him in The Revenant and some others. Even Bane. I even liked him as Bane in Dark Knight Rises. But you know, a mixed bag of a movie, and the Bane character wasn't great, but I liked his performance as Bane at least, so yeah. Anyways, great actor, and he was phenomenal in this movie as this psycho. And it's really cool. Cool. It's really weird, but kind of cool, actually, in terms of, like, editing. I really liked the editing in this movie, and cinematography was good, too. Some really odd music choices, like, It's a Sin by Pet Shop Boys was in it during this scene, which was actually pretty funny, where he's in a mental institution, and, like, all these crazy people are dancing to the Pet Shop Boys, and he's, like, trying to escape, and he doesn't. That scene was pretty funny, actually. There's some humor in it at times, like that, and some other stuff that made me laugh. It's a very bizarre movie, but I enjoyed it, though. I actually really liked this movie. It's pretty good. If you like movies about again, I'm not entirely sure if this is a biopic. It might be. I'm not sure. I thought it was, but I don't know for sure. But if you like biopics or about like crazy people, like even serial killers or whatever, or just a character study in general, check this movie out. Bronson. It's pretty underrated. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot, and much better than Neon Demon. That movie, I might watch again. I said when I reviewed it, I probably never will. I might watch it again one of these days, but that movie did creep me out, because at least Elle Fanning in this movie didn't. At least Elle Fanning wasn't. Well, of course she wasn't in this movie, but at least she didn't get eaten by these other good-looking women, you know. So, spoilers to the Neon Demon. I'm spoiling a lot of movies in this one. I'm sorry, but anyways, but Bronson. That's my number 5. Okay, coming in at number 4 is the last of the 3 Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu movies that I'll be talking about. And unlike the last 2, I did like this movie. And this movie, unlike Bardo, was very good. Very, very good. And as of right now, this is my favorite foreign language film. I'm still trying to watch more foreign language movies. It's hard because, for one thing, my attention span, and also, you know, subtitles. I'm not good with that. That's part of my attention span, really. But this movie's very good. This is his debut film, and I don't know if I'll say this right because it's in Spanish, but I know what the English translation is. So I'll try to say the title, and then I'll say the English translation, which I actually call it that because this is hard to say. But Amores Perros, maybe? But the English translation is Life's a Bitch. So, which is pretty awesome. I actually like that title a lot. I guess probably the reason why they didn't call it that, like in America, because they probably couldn't have a swear word in the title then. I think nowadays you can kind of get away with that. Like, I know there's a movie coming out with Amy Adams called Night Bitch. So, I think nowadays you can get away with it, but back in 2000, I don't know if you could. And there's even a show like on Netflix or something called The End of the Fucking World or something. So it is kind of like censored, but it's basically called that. So, and also Beastie Boys it was censored, but they had a concert film called Awesome I Fucking Shot That, and that was actually 2005, not too long after this, but still, you know, maybe they couldn't do that back in the early 2000s. So, but I'm calling it Life's a Bitch right now. So yeah, but Life's a Bitch is a phenomenal movie. This is a really cool movie, and it's like I could definitely see like Pulp Fiction being a big influence on this because of like non-linear storytelling and like showing three different perspectives of, you know, of like almost the same event. Like it all takes place of like after and even before, like leading up to a car crash, and it's like three different people's point of views. You got two of them were involved in the car crash, like, you know, in both cars, and then there was this guy who witnessed it, his perspective as well, and it's very good. I liked both. I liked all three. I did think the woman, who was like a supermodel who was in one of the car crashes, her story was my least favorite, but it was still entertaining. At least, like it was still good. And I think my second favorite was the guy in the other car crash who was like a drug dealer or something. And like his dog was like in fights and stuff. And then my favorite was actually the homeless guy who witnessed the car crash. His story was the best. That was at the end of the movie, but that was very good. You know, it's for like each act, you know. So Act 1 was the drug dealer or whatever. Act 2 was the supermodel, and then Act 3 was the homeless man. And yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And it all involves dogs too. This movie is very much about dogs, and I'm not much of a dog person. I used to say that I hate dogs. I'm starting to come around to them more, but I do like cats better. I've always been a cat person, so, you know. But this movie is about dogs. Now, I don't know if you are a dog lover, I'm not sure if you should watch this, just because there are some graphic shit with, like, dog fights in it that honestly looked real. I don't know whether or not they were, but they looked real. So, if you don't want to see dogs fighting each other to the death, don't watch this movie. If you're a dog lover and don't want to see that, I don't recommend it. But other than that, I do recommend this movie. You know, especially if you're a film buff and want to watch more foreign language films. This is a Spanish film, of course, and it's great. It is a very good movie. I enjoyed it very much. Not my favorite by that director, of course, it's Birdman, but this is a close second. This was very good. I really liked Life's a Bitch or Ameros, Perros, whatever. But Life's a Bitch, that's my number 4. Coming at number 3, we have another movie I own, and it is, I have it in this collection, that is Awakenings. I also have The Fisher King, which I haven't seen yet. I want to, but haven't got around to watching it yet. I did watch Awakenings, though. Very good movie. Penny Marshall, who you might know from from the TV show Laverne and Shirley, which I have seen because my brother likes that show a lot, and it's an okay show. It's kind of funny, but Penny Marshall directed this. She also did movies like Big and I forget what else, but she did a phenomenal job with this movie. This movie is so good, and it's a mix of emotions. Like, it's very sad at times, but it's also very happy at times. And the ending is kind of a mix of both happy and sad. So that I really like that. Like, the only other movie I can think of that does that is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That ending is both happy and sad. I think some people might say it's more sad, but it's both, and it's kind of equally both. So yeah, and that's kind of how this movie is, and it's even based on a true story about Rob Williams plays this doctor who, you know, works like, I guess, kind of like a mental institution, but he works with the people who are, like, can't move. They're, you know, not catatonic, was it paralyzed? Yeah, paralyzed, and Robert De Niro is one of them, and he finds a cure that actually works, that makes them come back. Robin Williams is the first person that, you know, he tests that on, and it works, and then the rest, and it is so good. This movie is phenomenal. Robin Williams, of course, is great. I actually have another Robin Williams movie right after this that I'll be talking about, but he's great. But Robert De Niro is even better because he's playing. First plays, you know. First, he has to stay still because, you know, he's paralyzed, and then when he you know, starts working, you know, he acts like a normal person, and then closer to the end, he a little bit spoilers, but closer to the end, he has to kind of almost go back to being weird and stuff, and that was, which was heartbreaking to see. That was, like, at his best, was when Robert De Niro, like, closer to the end of the movie, whenever his mental state was coming back, it was, wow, like, phenomenal acting right there. Like, I don't know. I mean, if it wasn't for Taxi Driver, this would be his best performance, honestly. He also got Raging Bull. You know, he's a phenomenal actor anyways, but this is definitely one of my favorite De Niro performances. I would say my second favorite after Travis Bickle and Taxi Driver. A completely different character, of course, and performance, but he's slightly better in that, but still phenomenal in this movie. And, yeah, it's a great movie. I love Awakenings. It's sad. It might not be for everybody. It might just be a first watch for some people. I could definitely watch this again. Not a lot, but I could still watch it again. It's great. I really enjoyed Awakenings, and phenomenal movie, and that is my number 3. Alright, coming in at number 2, this is another Robin Williams movie that I liked slightly better, and I liked his performance better in this one than Awakenings, because Robert De Niro was the show stealer in that. But this one is definitely a Robin Williams movie. This is definitely his movie. So my number 2 is another Robin Williams classic, maybe even more so than Awakenings. That is Good Morning Vietnam. Yes, I finally got to watch Good Morning Vietnam. I own it, as you can see, on VHS. I recently got a new VCR, and although so far this is the only tape I watched in it, but yeah, this was the first tape and I watched in it, and first and only so far, and yeah, this movie is fantastic. Mostly a comedy, but it had some good dramatic moments too. Like, surprisingly, like, I wasn't entirely sure about how the drama was going to be in this movie. It's great. The drama is just as good as the comedy, and the comedy is phenomenal too. It's a very funny movie, but it also gets kind of sad and a little bit depressing at times too. It's way more of an easier watch than Awakenings. Like, maybe for some people it still might not be, like, maybe people that's been to Vietnam might not want to watch this again, but other than that, it's definitely more of a rewatchable movie, and it's, you know, it's so good. Even Forrest Whitaker is in this movie, and he's very good too. And yeah, it's very funny movie. Also, I had to mention the soundtrack is great. You got like the Beach Boys and other I think maybe Jimi Hendrix might have been in it. I think, yeah, Purple Haze, I think. Bob Dylan maybe. Yeah, awesome soundtrack as well as an awesome movie. Great film. I loved this movie. It even made it on my top 100 favorite movies. Originally, Awakenings did too, but it actually got moved down because of other movies got on there. But yeah, more on my top 100 favorite movies. Of course, the updated version of that. More on that later, sometime this year. I'll get to that. But Good Morning Vietnam will most likely be on that list, and it is right now. So, yeah. Great film. Good Morning Vietnam is my number 2. Would be my number 1 if it wasn't for this movie. And I gotta be honest, this is one of the best movies I have ever seen. So my number 1 favorite movie that I watched for the first time in July of 2022 or 2024 is a documentary. That's right, it's a documentary, and it is called American Movie. You might have heard of this, or you might not have. I think a lot of people haven't heard of this movie, this documentary. And some people might even be shocked that it actually is real, because it feels a lot like, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but it feels a lot like a mockumentary. Like, kind of Spinal Tap, you know, Christopher Guest from Spinal Tap. Like, a lot of his movies are mockumentaries. Kind of in that vein, but it's not. It's an actual documentary about a Canadian... Let me get a drink real quick. Sorry. But it's a documentary about a Canadian filmmaker named... it's Mark something. Let me see. Give me a minute. Sorry. Mark... Well, shit, I don't know if I can pronounce his last name. It starts with a B. I can't pronounce it, but Mark. This Canadian filmmaker named Mark, who makes this short horror film called Covenant, or no, not Covenant. Coven. It's called Coven, and this shows it's just the making of this short horror film, and it shows Mark and his friend Mike, and him and his crew making this film. And you have to see to believe it, because, like I said, it looks like a mockumentary. It's a very funny movie. This movie is hilarious, and yeah, you just have to see to believe it. It's insane that this is real. Phenomenal movie, phenomenal. I think everybody should see this movie, and this is one of the greatest films I have ever seen. There's actually 3 movies that I consider to be the greatest, and this is one of them, along with 12 Angry Men, and people might disagree with this one, but I personally do think it's one of the best. If you look at it from a different point of view, it's one of the best. That's Tommy Wiseau's The Room, which people consider to be one of the worst movies ever. If you look at it as a documentary, I mean, as a drama, of course it is. But if you look at it as a comedy, it's phenomenal. And this is definitely a comedy. And if you say that this is a bad movie, no, it's not. This movie is just amazing. You need to watch it. Everyone needs to watch American Movie if you can get your hands on it. It is on Amazon Prime, or just Prime, Prime Video, I think is what's called now. I believe it's on there. It was whenever I watched it, so hopefully it's still there. So if you have Prime, check it out. It's amazing. I definitely want to show Cade this movie. I don't know if we'll do a Your Cousins Are Critics on it, but I do want to show him this movie because it's amazing. It's hilarious. It's just an amazing film that you need to watch. And it is my number one favorite movie that I watched in the month of July 2024. Alright, there we go. There is my ranking for the first watches of did I say? Yeah, July 2024. So, in the comments, give me, if you can, that is, because it has been a little while, give me some of your favorite first watches of July. If you have Letterboxd, you know, that will definitely help you refresh your memory. So just look at your Letterboxd and tell me what was some of your favorite first watches of that month, and also what is your favorite first watches of that. Was some of your favorite movies that I mentioned here, and if Bardo is one of them, again, please tell me why you liked it and why you even think it's a good movie, because I need help with that one. But yeah, because that's my least favorite movie right now. Anyways, and that's why this video's long, because I wasted like a almost good 10 minutes just talking about that movie. But anyways, which I apologize, but yeah, I talk a lot. If you're not a stranger to my channel, then you should know. Anyways, I'm about to end it now. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell, and look out. My next video will be of the next month following July, of course. That'd be August. Look out for my my ranking for the favorite first watches of August. So check that out. All right. So I'll see you guys then. All right. Peace.